Well, welcome to episode 24 of Cocktails for a Crisis. I've been in the lab this afternoon working on a Wisconsin drink. We're thinking about folks in Wisconsin and the Jacob Blake situation, and kind of talk a little bit about the Brandy Old Fashioned, which is a traditional Wisconsin drink. They drink more brandy in Wisconsin than any other state in the country, and apparently Korbel is the go-to brandy up there. Two of my good friends from Wisconsin both independently said this is the brandy that you use for the Brandy Old Fashioned. Erica and I and our friends, the Doubledays from England, got to go to a supper club in Wisconsin many years ago and had a traditional Brandy Old Fashioned and fish fry and the whole deal that you do on Friday nights in a supper club up there. So I really like this. I like this cocktail. I usually don't drink much brandy, but they drink a lot of it, of everything in Wisconsin, but particularly brandy. So we're going to do the two different varieties tonight. We're going to do the Brandy Old Fashioned Sweet, and we're going to do the Brandy Old Fashioned Sour, and you're going to see why one's sweet and one's sour here in a second. But with both of them, you're going to need your muddler, and you're going to need orange and cherry. And so you start out with a sweet, you put an orange slice in the bottom of your glass, and then you put a couple of cherries. You get these fancy cherries that don't have corn syrup. I'm going to put two of those in there. I'm going to put 2 shakes of Angostura Bitters, 1, 2. And then we're going to put just a little bit, about a teaspoon or so, of bar sugar in there like that, and then a touch of club soda, and then you muddle that all together like so. All crushed up there to get that flavor. Good. And then we're going to go ahead and add ice. Put the jigger of brandy. Korbel is the Wisconsin go-to, so we're using that. I made a special trip to Liquor Barn, which is really hard for me to go to Liquor Barn, let me tell you. And then you top it off with 7-Up or Sprite. This is what makes it sweet, and it's a pretty sweet drink. So, and give it a little stir before we garnish. And mix it around there. There we go. And then every picture I've seen has this weird thing with an orange slice and a cherry and a toothpick. So we'll see if we can recreate that. Let's see. So it's like a foldy kind of thing, and then a cherry, and then you stick the toothpick right in there like that. Boop. Like so. There we go. And you plop that in there like that. That is pretty. Just don't poke yourself in the eye with a toothpick. It's delicious. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. I myself prefer the brandy sour. Erica prefers the sweet. So you start almost with the same stuff, the way I do it anyway. You put an orange slice and a couple of cherries. I'll take the stems off since I'm going to crush them. Like so. Oops. Fumble. And then you don't put any sugar, or I don't put any sugar in it, because you want it to be a little more sour. You put a couple of shakes of Angostura in there. Again, a little bit of club soda just to help the muddling process. Muddling it. So it's just club soda, Angostura, orange, cherry. You're muddling that around there. And then we'll add ice. Now normally you would top this off up there with squirt, which you may have seen. I like saying the word squirt. Or something called 50-50, which is a grapefruit soda. I didn't have any of that, and I didn't feel like going back to the store, so I made my own up with just grapefruit juice. So I'm going to add an ounce of grapefruit juice. And I'm going to add to that an ounce of club soda. To have my own grapefruit soda, you get it? Put that in there like that. Stir that around. Always happens to me to get too much in there. Like that. And then I'm not going to do the fancy thing like that. I'm just going to plop in a cherry. And then I'll add an orange wedge like that. But it may seem odd that I'm, talking about Wisconsin. This Kenosha thing is pretty horrible that's happened. But I'm bringing it up for that, but for 4 of the kindest, most loving people I've ever known who I associate with Wisconsin. Steve Price, who I went to graduate school with, Uncle Cheese. Todd Seguin, who lives here in Bowling Green, who's from Wisconsin. Bridget Draxler, who I worked with at Monmouth, who is the communication across the curriculum coordinator. She lives up in St. Olaf, Minnesota, I guess it is now. And Trini Stickle, who I work with here, who's not from Wisconsin, but went to school in Wisconsin. And all 4 of these people are the most empathetic, loving, kind people you'd ever know in your life. All 4 of them. It's amazing. And I want to think about all the love and kindness that they have and try to send that up to Kenosha and help all the people up there feel that Wisconsin love that I feel from those 4 people. So here's to Uncle Cheese, here's to Todd, here's to Bridget, here's to Trina, and here's to loving kindness, and here's to all of you. Cheers.